Floods continue to wreak havoc across several districts in Kerala. 6 feared dead, several others missing. Arrangements being made for relief and rescue operations by NDRF team and Fire Force. Indian Air Force and Indian Army also mobilized. BJP to start Samajik Sampark Campaign in Uttar Pradesh from today. Under the campaign, party's representatives to connect with people by taking the mantra of self-reliant India with everyone's faith and everyone's efforts. India's cumulative COVID-19 vaccination coverage exceeds 97.62 crores. Recovery rate currently at 98.08%, highest since March 2020. Vaccination anthem released to promote vaccination drive across the country. Song launched by renowned singer Padma Shri Kailash Kher. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 army soldiers, including a JCO, martyred during search operations in Poonch yesterday. Meanwhile, Islamic State Wilaya Hind claims responsibility for killing 2 non-local street food vendors in Srinagar since the 5th of October. India clinches South Asian Football Federation SAFF Championship for 8th time, defeating Nepal 3-0 at Maldives National Football Stadium in Malé. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur congratulates team on winning the championship title. Congratulates Sunil Chetri on scripting history as he equals Lionel Messi's record of 80 goals in international men's football. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukmaina. Top story. The Met Department has predicted thunderstorms and heavy rainfall over Uttarakhand, Western Uttar Pradesh and Haryana today and tomorrow as a result of the WD interaction with low-level easterlies. Cloud drifting towards western UP and southeast Haryana from the low-pressure area over Telangana started on Saturday afternoon. Intense rainfall activity over Kerala to reduce significantly from today. The Met Department has issued a red alert in 5 districts and warned of extremely heavy rainfall in 5 others. Meanwhile, light rain or drizzle occurred over and adjoining areas of isolated places of entire Delhi this morning. Light rain occurred over Greater Noida, Ghaziabad, Dadri, Noida, Pilakwa, Gulauti, Hapur, Bulandshahr, Jahangirabad this morning. In Kerala, 8 persons are missing in Kokkayar landslide in Idukki district. 8 are reported to be missing in Kuttikal. 4 houses were washed away in the heavy rains in Kokkayar. 2 persons have lost their lives in Mulamattum in Idukki district. In Kottayam district, 4 persons died due to the landslides in Kuttikal. The NDRF team and Fire Force have already reached the spot for rescue operations. The district administration of Idukki and Kottayam districts has informed that all arrangements have been made for relief and rescue operations. Relief camps have been started functioning in the rain-affected areas of Idukki and Kottayam districts. In another update from Kerala, west-flowing river Pamba at Malakkara in Pathanamthitta district is flowing above the warning level, and there's a forecast that it will cross the danger levels by this morning. Meanwhile, devotees will not be allowed to visit Sabrimala temple today and tomorrow due to heavy rains and a red alert issued by the IMD in Pathanamthitta district. Devotees have been asked to refrain from visiting Sabrimala temple in Kerala today and tomorrow. In view of the red alert in 5 districts of Kerala headquarters, the Southern Naval Command has gone up in readiness for assisting local administration and rescue operations. Meanwhile, KSDMA has sought assistance from Southern Naval Command at Kochi for airlifting of marooned families at Kuttikal village in Kottayam. KSDMA is in touch with naval authorities. The diving and rescue teams are ready to be deployed at short notice. In addition, helicopters are also ready to be deployed once the weather is conducive for air operations. And joining us now is our correspondent Joseph Martin from Kochi on the phone line. Joseph, what details can you give us about the preparations in place? The IMD has issued a warning, a red alert. Also, the situation across Kerala, unprecedented at this time of the year.
Rukma, the rain has stopped. The heavy rain has stopped. It has been raining for 24 hours, the past 24 hours. Now the rain has stopped for a while, and we don't know whether it will continue in the later hours. But for now, it is of some relief to the people of badly affected area like Kottayam and Pathanamthitta, Idukki too. The main problem there is that these districts have rivers flowing through them, and the overflowing waters are causing the banks and the roads and the houses nearby flooding them and making it more dangerous. Many of the houses have been destroyed in such a way, and even on the hillside that is in Kottayam and in Idukki districts, we have that is a hilly terrain, and there happen to be many landslides which is yet to be assessed. Now, because of the heavy rain yesterday and the lack of light, that it was not possible for the government authorities to assess them. The NDRF team is there actively doing the job there, and the Southern Naval Command is on high alert. They are ready for any surveillance first. So if the weather is favorable, they will do the surveillance first, and then they will go for a airlifting if necessary. And our Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, had told that this is a serious issue, and it needs to be addressed properly. People do not panic, but take real care and precautions not to get into dangerous situations. And the pilgrim to Sabarimala temple, yesterday was supposed to be an auspicious day, opening of the puja of Tula month puja, and people were expected to visit the temple yesterday and for a few days more. But government has requested the pilgrims not to visit the temple for a few days, at least for 2 days more, until the rain situation is favorable. And the colleges are supposed to open on 17th, now 17th and 18th, but it is postponed to 20th post-COVID.
Right, Joseph. When we talk about the casualty count, what can you tell us about the latest figures?
Yeah. Yesterday in Critical, 10 people were missing, and out of that, 3 are confirmed dead. They have lost their life, and 7 are still missing. They are in search for the 7 people. And in other parts also that people are missing, about 13 people are missing in Idukki district, and yet to be confirmed how many of them. Dog squads are pressed into action for tracing the people in the mud or under the landslide. So they are also taking care of that in that way, to identify or to search and rescue the people who are trapped in the mud, in the landslide. Another thing is that Idukki and Kottayam are the worst affected in this case. And boats from the fishermen are engaged with large boats. They are carrying the boats from Kollam district, a nearby district, and they are deploying those boats to go for search and rescue operation, because these large fishing boats can carry at least up to more than 15 people at a time. So that is more efficient. Even the dinghy inflatable rubber boats are also being used. They are being used by the army. Now, local fishermen are so efficient in such a way that they have an experience of the past flood situation in Kerala. So they are also pressed into action. And this is a situation. Now the rain has stopped. It has stopped raining for a while. In few places it's still raining. The rain is also taking place. Rain is also there in the northern districts of Kerala. This is the condition now, but we are unable to tell the actual casualty until more searches are done, because the power lines are disrupted. So hence the communication is also not working. The mobile phones cannot be charged. These are the situation. These are the things that the people government is facing to assess who are all trapped, who are all missing. So prima facie that we find that 7 people are still to be traced in Kootikal, and another 10 to 13 people are still missing in Idukki.
Meanwhile, when we talk about advisories as a result of the red alert that has been issued by the IMD, have there been any advisories issued by local authorities, by state authorities?
Yeah, state authorities have issued advisories, but it cannot be avoided. If they stay at home, don't venture out. So if they stay at home, what can we do about? What can the people do about the landslide? It is the landslide areas. They are. It's just flowing and falling. The mud is flowing and settling on top of the houses. Many houses are being damaged. So likewise. So,
right. And meanwhile, when we talk about relief and rescue, is there any step, any measures being taken for evacuation in any part, considering that, as you said, homes have been damaged? So what about relief and relief camps?
Yeah, relief camps have been set up. Many relief camps have been set up in the nearby schools, and people are being rescued, and they have been put in those relief camps. And some who opt to go to the relatives' house are taken to the relatives' house. This is how they are relocating the people who are affected in the affected areas.
And what about rains at this time of the year? Kerala, we do know, has what is the IMD saying? What are these late monsoon rains? Are these unprecedented, or is it a retreating monsoon? How exactly is the IMD describing these heavy rains and the flooding?
Since 2 to 3 years, the pattern of the rain has changed a bit. So we are unable to confirm about that. But when it comes, it will pours heavily, and the catchment area of the dam gets most rain. So naturally, they are forced to open the shutters. Hence, the result is that the flow through the river is enhanced greater to a level which could submerge the banks and the nearby roads. Most of the roads have been submerged in water, likewise. So the houses have been, the water has locked into the houses, and some of the houses which are weak, they collapse. Some of them just flow into the, slip into the water. These are the things what has happened.
Right.
Now,
and finally, very quickly, a word about, we'd like you to continue about what you were saying about yesterday. Also, very quickly about the transportation, public transport systems, the railways and so on. Are there any advisories issued? Are there any disruptions as of now?
There are regulations to travel by road, and people are being allowed only on emergency cases as for now, as for the pattern this hour. But it can change. The water is slowly receding on the roads, and people are not allowed to go out or take the vehicles. Yesterday, one of the KSRTC bus, that is the Kerala State Road Transport bus, the driver took the bus into the waterlogged road, through the waterlogged road, and the bus was, the driver made a very risky attempt, and he was suspended for that by the Minister of Transport in Kerala. So they are taking much care about it. These people, they think that they could run on these flooded waters, but it is much risky for the passengers who are traveling by the bus. So the minister took such a drastic step to make sure that people don't do this mistake again. So this is one of the matter. And another thing that the roads are also filled. Most of the roads are damaged, so beyond motorable condition. This is also one of the reasons why people cannot reach by road. So they have to travel by inflatable dinghy boats to reach the affected area, or they may have to use some ropeway to carry these people to the safer shore, or they have to use the helicopters for airlifting them.
Right. And when we talk about, the railways, we'd like to know in detail, what about the railways? Have there been any disruptions as far as the trains in that area are concerned, trains leading to other states are concerned as well, because there are heavy rains across South India, we believe.
I have not got much report on that, any cancellation or any disruption in the, or any disruption in the railway tracks, because Idiki, there is no railway track running through across Idiki district. So the mudslide does not affect in any way railway operations there. And yesterday there was a car was washed with 2 people inside. They were trying to cross the bridge to another area. So when they were traveling, the gush of water which took them into the river, and 2 young couple, they lost their lives in that accident.
Meanwhile, on State Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, what are the assurances that he has given? How has he assured the people who are victims in these floods of all state help?
He said that it is a very serious issue that Kerala is going through, especially in the central districts of Kerala. We are yet to assess the damages. Many of the houses have been damaged in this. And he said whatever is possible to keep the people safe or bring the people to safety, he is taking care of that. He has requested the army. The army is also there in taking all the precautions, necessary activities there. Even the NDRF is also there. The fire and rescue team is there. The medical team is also very active in the state, in the location, and also the Navy is on standby anytime that they would fly a airlifting operation. This is the situation right now.
Right, Joseph, many thanks for joining us there and for those detailed inputs. We'll be back with you throughout the day for more. And now moving on to the situation in Tamil Nadu, where several parts of the district Kanyakumari received heavy rains, causing flooding in Thiruparapu waterfalls. Scattered rains and thunderstorms have been predicted in the state today. And now an update on the nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive. Our COVID vaccination coverage has achieved the target of 97 crore 62 lakhs. Cumulatively, 97 crore 62 lakh 92,346 COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered till now in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive. More than 38 lakh 27,000 vaccine doses were administered on Saturday. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 army soldiers, including a JCO, were martyred in an inaction during search operations conducted by the army, along with J&K police in the densely forested area of Narkhas Forest in Mendhar subdivision of border district Poonch on Saturday. The martyred soldiers were part of search operations launched by security forces to flush out terrorists hiding in the forested area of Narkhas in Bhatta Dhurian area along the Jammu-Poonch National Highway. And a point worth mentioning here, on Thursday evening, after a fierce firefight with terrorists, communication with Subedar Ajay Singh and Naik Harendra Singh was disrupted. Relentless operations continue to neutralize the terrorists and re-established communication with the soldiers. Subedar Ajay Singh and Naik Harendra Singh were martyred in action in the fierce fight, and their bodies have been recovered on Saturday evening. Operations in the area are continuing. And 2 terrorists have been killed in an encounter between security forces and terrorists in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. IGP of Kashmir Vijay Kumar has said that the police, CRPF and army together started the operation. The 2 terrorists, Umar Mushtaq Khande and Shahid Bashir, were killed in the operation. Both were involved in several civilian killings. So far, 13 terrorists have been killed in 9 encounters after the civilian killings, and 3 out of 5 terrorists of Srinagar city have been neutralized within less than 24 hours.
इस ऑपरेशन में 2 हार्डकोर टेररिस्ट मारे गए लश्कर तैयबा का, एक तो उमर मुश्ताक खांडे, दूसरा शाहिद बशीर श्रीनगर सिटी का मारा गया है। दोनों बहुत सारे सिविलियन किलिंग में इन्वॉल्व था। उमर मुश्ताक खांडे बागा श्रीनगर में इसी साल 2 पुलिस वाले पर अटैक किया था, जिसमें दोनों की जान चली गई थी। उसके बाद इसके पीछे हम लोग पड़े हुए थे। और शाहिद जो बशीर है और इसके अलावा जो 4 टेररिस्ट श्रीनगर सिटी था, ये 5 सीरीज ऑफ सिविलियन किलिंग में इन्वॉल्व था। कल एक पुलवामा मारा गया, शाहिद बशीर मारा गया, तंजील मारा गया श्रीनगर सिटी में, आज फिर पामपुर मारा गया शाहिद खुर्शीद। तो 5 जो लोकल टेररिस्ट था श्रीनगर सिटी था, उसमें से 3 मारा गया है। जब से सिविलियन किलिंग शुरू हुआ है तब से हम लोग टोटल 9 इनकाउंटर किए, उसमें 13 टेररिस्ट मारा गया, जिसमें एक जेश का टॉप कमांडर था शाम मारा गया है। हम लोग इस ऑपरेशन को आगे जारी रखेंगे।
Meanwhile, Islamic State Wilaya Hind has claimed responsibility for killing 2 non-local street food vendors in Srinagar since the 5th of October. And joining us now is our correspondent Salman Qazi on the IS claim. Salman, a very good morning to you, but well, bad news there. 2 street vendors this time losing their lives to terrorist fire. Give us more details about how security forces are looking at this. The last time we spoke, you said about how attacks on civilians are on the rise there.
Yeah, two non-local laborers, Sagid Ahmed and Kumar were killed. Kumar was shot dead in Idja area of the Srinagar, and Sagid was shot dead in the Pulwama area. So 2 separate incidents, one in Srinagar and one in Pulwama. They were both shot dead, and these are both non-local, and one was a carpenter and one was a street hawker. So, basically, two people have been shot dead by militants, and there has been for the Srinagar killing of the Kumar, it has been owned by Islamic State. The local offset accounts have said that Islamic State, because they have these through the Telegram channels, etc. So they are saying that the Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the killing of Kumar in the Idga area. There have been a lot of civilian killings, as we have seen that this has been a new modus operandi for the militants to kill soft targets and to seek publicity through this. So and security forces have also intensified their activities against the militants, and there has been a renewed and new strategy to counter this thing, especially in Srinagar, because Srinagar has now emerged as a new headache for the security forces, as there have been lots of civilian killings here. So there have been, according to the police, there are 5 active militants in Srinagar, out of which they have been able to kill 3. So we are seeing a new strategy from both security forces and from the militants, and with the militants targeting civilians, especially non-locals.
Right. So militants targeting civilians more, and especially non-locals. When we talk about the Islamic State, Wilaya Hind, is there any background on them? We've heard of continuous activity by, Jaish-e-Mohammed and as well as Al-Qaeda. But what about Islamic State, Wilaya Hind? Do you have any background on them?
They had created an organization. They had a few militants, but according to police sources, they have been largely decimated. So there might be remnants of our ground workers who might be operating. So it is always they'll always every organization do the most important militant organizations that have been operating in the Jammu Kashmir have been LET, which has renamed itself as CRF, and Jaish-e-Mohammed and some other, and Hizbul Mujahideen. There have been a few militants from these organizations who joined either Al-Qaeda in Hind or Islamic State or Wilaya Hind. So, but they were eliminated around early this year. The police did claim that we have been able to eliminate every single member, but they will always remain some small time overground workers who later on might be supplied with some other weapons. So it is emerging. There's definitely with them claiming these two attacks, there is an indication that they have few members in Srinagar.
Right. Salman, many thanks for joining us there with that update. Moving on now to take a look at figures of COVID-19 from across the world, with infections touching 24 crore 11 lakh people. More than 21 crore 83 lakh people have recovered from COVID globally. The number of fatalities from the virus has crossed 49 lakh 9,000 worldwide. The US continues to remain the worst affected with the disease, where the number of COVID cases are above 4 crore 57 lakhs, with more than 7 lakh 44,000 lives having been lost so far to COVID. In sports, India has clinched the South Asian Football Federation Championship for the 8th time, defeating Nepal 3-0 in the Maldives National Football Stadium in Male. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has congratulated the team for winning the championship's title. He also congratulated Sunil Chhetri in particular on scripting history as he equaled Lionel Messi's record of 80 goals in international men's football. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. News and updates continue on DD India. Stay tuned. Namaskar.